President Erdogan and President Trump discussed recent developments in Syria and bilateral relations. This conversation followed a summit in the Russian city of Sochi, where Turkey, Russia and Iran held talks to further the Syrian peace process. Let's get a little more on this. We're joined by Giles Gibson, who is in London. Washington. Giles, so bring us a bit more detail about this phone conversation. What exactly was discussed?
Well, we're still waiting for the full details of this phone conversation to actually come through. According to the Turkish side, as you were saying, according to the Turkish foreign minister, Donald Trump told the Turkish prime minister, the Turkish president rather, that the US will no longer be arming the YPG group in Syria. Now, normally from the White House, when Donald Trump speaks to another world leader, we get what's known as a readout. That's essentially a summary of the topics that were discussed by Donald Trump and that other world leader. We haven't yet had that from the White House. So while we're hearing from Turkish authorities about the details of this phone conversation, we haven't had any details yet from the White House or from the Trump administration. Now, we did have a tweet from Donald Trump before that phone call took place. He tweeted out a few hours ago that he would be discussing peace in the Middle East with the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, but at this stage we haven't yet had confirmation from the White House about exactly what they say was actually said in this phone conversation.
What we do know is that the US has been arming the YPG for quite a long time now in this fight against Daesh. So Trump promising to stop giving them weapons, that seems quite significant, doesn't it?
It would certainly be a very significant shift. The YPG have been a very close ally, a close partner of the United States in that fight against Daesh, which has been going on in Syria and, of course, Iraq as well. Now that that fight, that military fight against Daesh seems to be really seems to be slowing down. They seem to be pretty much on the verge of an entire military defeat inside Syria. They've lost their de facto capital, Raqqa, to other forces inside Syria. So as Daesh face really a total military defeat inside that country, then the United States seem to be re-evaluating their entire position and their alliances within the country. As I say, we're still waiting for the White House or for the State Department perhaps to confirm that Donald Trump did actually say this to the Turkish president about the US no longer arming the YPG. So we'll certainly be monitoring that as and when we get confirmation from the White House about the details of this phone conversation between the two presidents.